record. Yes, we are now recording, and I will turn off the phone. There we go. Okay, and then I'll do 3, 2, 1, and then we'll start.
Very good.
Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello, and a very warm welcome to another edition of Unshakable Leadership. My name is Bruce Ross, and today I'm joined by the multi-trained, multi-skilled optimal performance specialist, Tina Greenbaum. Tina, very warm welcome to you. Whereabouts in the world are you?
I am just outside of San Francisco, right in between Berkeley and Oakland.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so a little bit of Tina's background. Tina works with executives who want to increase their performance in a high-stakes, high-pressure situation. An optimal performance specialist and sports psychology consultant, Tina's signature program, Mastery Under Pressure, empowers leaders and their teams using cutting-edge technology, neuroscience, energy psychology, sports psychology, and current learning theory. In addition to her Mastery Under Pressure team program, Tina also works with CEOs and senior level management as a confidential Thera coach. That's spelled T-H-E-R-A, Thera coach, in one-on-one basis. Her expertise in guiding executives through their psychological and personal issues helps her clients cope with the demands of their personal struggles and places them in a position where they can strive and arrive at a high level, stay at the top of their sector. And she says the only thing stopping you, that's standing between you and your goals, is you. I've got to say, what do you mean by that? I mean, it's a nice phrase. What do you mean by that?
Well, we all have blind spots, Bruce.
Right.
And if we don't, I always say that everybody else knows them. Wouldn't you want to know your own?
Right.
And the more conscious we become, the more aware we become of our blind spots, the better people we are, better leaders we are. And so we all need somebody to work as a mirror to help us kind of see things that we just don't see.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So it sounds like what you're talking about is it's very important to have self-awareness.
Yes, primary more than anything, actually.
Got it. Okay. So this may come into my first question, the standard 5 questions. So what's the biggest challenge that you help leaders face in business today?
Well, when we talk about today is different than it was a couple months ago, but it's still the same piece, and it's uncertainty. And
okay.
when we think that things are going well and they're predictable, they're really not, because as we know, the world can change in an instant.
Yeah.
You know, earthquakes and 9/11 and all kinds of things. So things are not really that predictable, but we have this myth that they are. Well, right now, there is nothing predictable. You know, I live in the US and, you know, all around the world where we are all on a level playing field. You know, people having different experiences of this pandemic and all kinds of, but we're all left with this thing. We can't, it's very hard to plan. We don't have data. We don't have things that we could typically rely on to help us, you know, project and where are we going and what are we doing. So when we are in a period of uncertainty, the greater the uncertainty, the greater the anxiety.
Yes.
Right. So the more that we have structure, the nervous system can calm down a little bit and we can proceed. So this is massive, massive uncertainty at every single level. And I think that that's what we're all facing, but particularly people who are in charge of other people and other people's lives and livelihoods and every aspect of being, it's quite a responsibility.
Absolutely. So there's 2 levels. There's the self-responsibility. How do I remain intact? But then also, how do I help my team members in the best way possible for them to remain intact? Because obviously they need to be productive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what would you say are the biggest mistakes? I get it. People understand uncertainty. They feel uncertain. They feel anxious. What are the biggest mistakes typically people make or your clients make around addressing that?
Well, I mean, I think there's two different sides to this. There are some people who are very self-aware
Mm-hmm.
and take great responsibility for themselves, but sometimes even more responsibility than they should. So in other words, I was just talking to a client who has been in the process of organizing a hedge fund and has run multi-million-dollar companies. And for the first time in her career, actually, she likened it to 2008, but it's worse. And she keeps asking the question, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I'm hearing a blind spot. This is not just what's wrong with her. Okay, this is all the things that we're talking about. And she needs to be able to put herself in that context to see it's not just her, but what is her and what is in her control. So, and then you have people who are very unaware of their own personal piece, and they're good with blame. If only this, if this pandemic hadn't happened, and if that hadn't happened, and the protests hadn't happened, and this hadn't happened, then we would be, well, we all have a part in this. If you really kind of, I think you have another question in there, which I may answer, ahead of time, is like, the operative question is what is in my control, what's out of my control.
So tell us more about that. What is in our control?
So what is in our control is our attitude.
Okay.
It's the way we handle our responses and reactions to people. What is that in our control, again, is another piece of it. I mean, resilient people think in a certain way. They think that there are possibilities. They think that we will get out of this. They think we're down now, but we're coming back. And in this incredible time when your people are you can't hold on to everybody, or your sector that if you're a travel person, or your whole sector is completely discombobulated, and so where can I find that silver lining? Somewhere in here, somewhere I need to take charge, and this is causing us to become more imaginative, more creative, more of things that maybe we haven't had to really kind of look at, because maybe things were going really pretty well.
Right.
And so it's a great time of reflection to really find, because it's so easy to say what I can't do. Right. I can't get on a plane. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't see these people face to face. Like, I can't stand to be on the computer all day long. I can't. And these are all true. So we're not denying them, but it's like where you put your attention, where you put your mind, what we focus on expands.
Got it. So you said one of the things is attitude, and I totally agree with you. And I don't think there's any argument around that. How do you change your attitude?
Well, number one, you become aware.
Okay.
Because if we don't listen to ourselves, then we don't know what's operating under the radar. And you know as well as I do that we are driven by our unconscious and our unconscious beliefs.
Yep. And
if we don't bring them out into the light and take a look and see, well, what am I thinking? How am I talking to myself? Most people, when they start this process, they wouldn't talk to their worst enemy the way that they talk to themselves. And so we have to become really, really, oh, that was such a stupid thing I did. Or that was a stupid thing. I can't believe it. Or no, I mean, all these things that just go on underneath the surface. So mindfulness, which is an ancient practice, which now is beginning, we're getting a lot of talk about it. But the definition of mindfulness is being aware in the present moment without judgment.
Okay. Being aware in the present moment without judgment. Okay.
Yes. So when we can start to listen to ourselves and not judge, wow, I just noticed that, wow, this is really taking me down, or my mood is just, I am just in the basement today. Okay. So I start to notice, I become aware. I use the example. When this was all starting, I was planning a wedding party for one of my children, and my family was coming from all over the country. And little by little, the pandemic, it wasn't called the pandemic at the point yet. So it was just like okay, so what are the risks of flying and what are the risks that we're doing? And what I noticed, I was so anxious. I was just so anxious trying to make these decisions for other people and not wanting to give up and not wanting to let go. And so just acknowledging, not pretending that it didn't exist, and sending it away, I just stopped. I said, you are so anxious. Okay, so then I come back to this question, what's in my control? I know when the anxiety raises, I'm feeling out of control. It's just an axiom, just happens.
Yes.
Okay. So where am I feeling out of control? I'm feeling out of control of all the stuff that's going around me. Okay, so where can I take control? I can cancel it. I can just cancel. I can make a unilateral decision and say it's not happening because I'm not willing to take the risk of other people getting sick and putting people into that, decision-making thing that nobody has a good answer. So I'm going to take it. I'm just going to say it's not happening. And my anxiety went away. Then I had to deal with the loss and the grief and, and the sadness and all these other emotions that begin to show up.
Yes.
Right? So being so tied into really what's happening internally.
Yes.
Also being very tied into, because I'm a mind-body person. The body holds all this information. All I have to do sometimes is just check in. Oh, my stomach, oh, my muscles. Or I get a clue. So it expands my awareness, and then it allows me to make better choices. So that's really what being in control of your life is. People think we're going to control other things and other people. No, that doesn't work. But what can I control?
So your surveillance is of your own thinking. What's the message, or what am I saying to myself? And also your body, how am I feeling?
That's right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And then when you really, we've got two parts to this. So in many times when people talk about positive thinking, oh, everything's going to be great. Oh, I'm going to make a lot of money. Oh, this is good. Well, if the other parts of us don't believe it, it's not going to happen. So we're guided by our belief systems. And our belief systems are very most frequently unconscious. Things that we have picked up from our families of origin, our communities, and they rule us. They rule us. So again, this is part of why can't I give this up? What's my belief around that? Where does that come from? And then I can begin to start to trace, that my parents told me that. Why am I in the political party that I'm in? Why do I have where did they come from? Do I really believe them as an adult? Where is this bias? I'm not biased. No. Let me really kind of, where did I hear this? And so everything that I think you're hearing me talk about everything is about awareness. Everything. How is your company doing? How are your people feeling? What's happening to the numbers? What's all these things that as leaders we're responsible for. If we can get ourselves out of the way and that everything is all about me, that it is what it is.
Yeah.
And let me look at it with curiosity. Oh, I'm wondering, where does this come from? Or how did this happen? Or, wow, I wasn't really happy with the way I responded to that. How come I did that? That's so interesting. Rather than going down that spiral, beating yourself up. Well, that was really bad. That was really stupid. So I like to say, do my thoughts produce something useful for me? Rather than positive thinking, which can be very serendipitous.
Yes.
I call it productive thinking.
Got it.
Do my thoughts produce something useful? And if they don't, then I'm responsible for changing that.
So inside what you've said, you've created a picture of me, one part of me observing the other parts of me, my thinking and my feelings, my body, and then asking questions, curiosity.
Yeah.
With all your years of experience, are there any tips, or what tips would you suggest in terms of getting to the place or the space that is facilitated, that is easier?
So it starts with making time to get in touch with yourself.
Okay.
And busy people frequently say, I don't have the time to do this. And, meditation is, again, an ancient practice, but it has some very, very, very practical and neurological benefits. So what happens is because of the mind, the way that we've been designed, is we're always on alert. We're always looking for danger.
Right.
It's the first thing that happens, that reticular activating system, boom, 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 danger. And it's on 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, always looking for danger. Okay. So I understand that that's how I'm made up.
Okay.
And at the same time, I can quiet that part down through many different kinds of techniques and things, but meditation is one of them. When we meditate, and meditation, again, if somebody wants to write it down, meditation is focused concentration. It's just focused.
Okay.
So again, whatever we focus on expands. So if we want to quiet down the chatter and we focus on something else, a word, a mantra, a picture, our breath or a candle, whatever, that quiets down that activating system, and it begins to start to create neural pathways to the prefrontal cortex, which is our executive branch.
Okay.
And so great leaders have a very strong executive branch where they can see things that other people can't see right away. They see possibilities. They see ramifications. They see consequences. It's like, oh, I got it. And so we can build that capacity. And so through meditation, there's many different kinds of meditation. There's mindfulness meditation where we're just aware this came into my awareness. This came, there's all different kinds of things that we can do. There's apps, but as a practice, you need to have a practice. You need to have a practice every day, or as best you can every day, where you begin to start to create these new neural pathways that will calm you down. So the whole practice, the whole idea behind all the work that I do is to calm down the nervous system so that the mind can be calm and clear.
Right. Yeah. So it's clear from what you're saying, we need this practice, and it's to create new neural pathways. Right. What about the challenge of even setting up a practice? Are there any clues around that? I know I'm going into minutiae here, but I can see
that's okay. I like minutia. I like this. I like to get down to the actual. How can I actually do this?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm really a teacher at heart. And so I love to teach skills.
Okay, good.
So we have to start, again, becoming aware of where we are.
Yes.
So, Tina says you need to do a practice. And the first thing that I notice is, she's got to be kidding.
Right.
She's got to be kidding. All right. So now I know what my attitude is. Without judgment, I'm just noting I got a lot of resistance to this. Okay. Then the next question becomes, how badly do you want what I just described? How badly do you want to have that calm mind so that you can see clearly? How badly do you want to be the leader that everybody wants to hang around and have them walk away? This is the best boss I ever had. How much do you want that? Okay. And if that is greater than the 10 or the 15 minutes that you have to carve out, then you put your intention there. Again, so based on results, what was my intention? If I want what I say that I want, I have to have that focus and that intention to carve out that time. And then that becomes sacred. In all the years that I've been alive so far, and all the challenges that I've had, and the kids that I've raised, and all the issues, and breast cancer, and this and that. Okay, if that time of my time became the most important thing in the world to me. When I had the breast cancer, and I had one of my clients gave me a book of Andrew Weil, who wrote, is a physician, a functional medicine doctor, and it was like 9 things to heal from whatever. I don't remember the 8, But the ninth one was you do whatever it takes.
Right.
Whatever it takes.
Right.
And when we get that attitude that you do, whatever is in my way is not as important as this, as my health and my well-being and my family and my people that I'm in charge of. And when you make that a priority, what's 15, 20 minutes?
Mm.
Otherwise, just be very clear that you are making a choice. Again, coming back to what's in my control, what's out of my control.
Yes.
I'm choosing not to value this more than I value something else. Okay, your choice.
Mm.
No judgment, it's just your choice.
So one last question, and specifically, I know there is the final question, my standard question, which is, what's the question I should have asked you? And I think you've already asked and begun to answer that around the self-awareness or looking at what's in your control. Mm-hmm. Is there another question, and I'm looking here for something specifically for leaders at this time, what it is that they could be asking themselves, or what it is that would point them in the right direction? Mm-hmm. Something like that, because clearly there's a lot of pain out there, and you've got a lot of answers and something that can create the internal calm. Right. What could you recommend? What would you suggest in terms of self-help, self-healing?
The first thing, Bruce, is to be in reality.
Okay.
In other words, if our expectations are a certain place, and our reality is someplace different, in between is frustration and disappointment. So we have to get real with what's real. This is a big deal. Mm. I have a lot of responsibility. I have a lot of people. And it's a time of great self-reflection also. I'm hearing from a lot of clients, a lot of people, I don't know that I want to keep doing this anymore. I may want to make a change in my life, or I may want to make a change in my organization, or I may want to give more, give more control to other people, have people help me more that I've never asked for, that I've just depended so much on myself. I'm exhausted. I'm burnt out. I can't do it like this. We can't do things in the old way. And what is this period asking of you? Just again, in the real dark place, what is it asking of you? Okay. And what is in my control and what really isn't? Right. What do I need to give up? That is going to bring me back and my people back to a place of peace, because everybody, it's real. Mm. It's real. And we're not Superman or Superwoman. We're not. We're people. And, and this is where the creativity comes in. And there's people that, people in my position and probably in your position too, I'm giving as much as I can. I'm just giving. Mm. It'll come back somewhere, somehow, something or other. Okay. But I have skills that I can offer that can be helpful. So I'm not being selfish with them. I'm out here, we are, I'm so tired of that saying, but we are in all this together. And I do believe that this work that you and I are doing can change the world. Literally. Okay. As we become more conscious and more aware of our values and our morals and the things that are really important to us, we may go through a really rough time right now. This is very chaotic. But we can come out at the other end. It's just like divorce. Divorce sucks. Divorce worst, most awful thing that people go through. Right. And yet, if it happens to be the right thing for those people, there is life after it. There is life after this. So take some time and envision, the way that you want your life to be. The values that you have, the people that you want to vote for, the people that you want, the things that you want to engage in that are going to make the difference as we pull out of this. because this is a great time for transformation.
Mm.
And transformation, there's all, you know, even when people start with me individually and say it always gets worse before it gets better, because we have to start looking at things that you have avoided all this time. And if we turn around and we take a look, I may not like initially what I see, but now again, I'm conscious, I'm aware, I can make some changes.
Got it.
I hope that helps. It's not the Band-Aid, you know, it's not the salve that will just calm everything. But somehow or other, when we're in our truth, there's something incredibly, incredibly powerful about that.
Mm. Well, I've enjoyed this, and I've extended it because I've felt that you're on such an important path for the pain that people are feeling, not just as a leader, but
Right.
everyone. And yours is such an important message, and it's not a one and done, do this one thing. You've actually got to soak in the words. And so I was happy to allow you to continue to enable our listeners to soak, because I think that's part of the whole self-reflection piece.
Right.
Is hear the words and just let them sit with you. And I would advise listeners, if you can, to take another 10 minutes after you've finished listening to this, just to sit with what Tina has been telling us, because it's been so important. So look, Tina, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I think there is a balm, there is a remedy. It's not an instant fix. I totally get that. But you have given us some very, very important, simple steps to take. Subtle, but simple steps. And I think they're essential for everyone, especially in leader positions. So thank you very much, Tina. A heartfelt thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Okay, bye now.
Bye now.